This is a difficult list to put together. Favorite go-to whiskeys for 2024. Essentially, what I was challenged with was to come up with a list of bottles that I gravitate towards when I have no agenda at all towards my drinking. There's no reviews, there's no tastings, there's no blind flights. So, what do I grab when I just don't want to think about it, but still want to enjoy it? So, essentially, these are bottles that I bring to my back porch to enjoy the sunset. So, we're going to go over 5 of these bottles and I'll highlight some bonuses as well. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me, everybody, for another Tuesday discussion. Here on Tuesdays, we do like to give video responses to questions and comments we're getting either on Instagram, YouTube, or our wonderful Patreon community. And today's question was, what do I like to drink? What are my go-to whiskeys when I'm not doing reviews, when I'm not doing anything for the channel, when I am just relaxing? What are the things that I pull from the shelf? So I had to walk around, think about that a little bit, review some of the pictures that I put on Instagram because I typically do post pictures when I'm on my back porch enjoying the sunset. So we're going to go over 5 brands, but I also have a bonus because the bonus is so obvious if you follow me and follow the channel here that it was a throwaway. I'm just going to get it out there and then we'll move on to 5 other brands. So let me pull up the list here. First, the bonus one. MGP single barrels. I love MGP single barrels. And over the years, there's always brands that seem to have the best barrels, the hot hand, and it's all about chasing them and not overpaying for the MGP that's out there compared to what other people are offering and when they bump up the prices. So I'm going to highlight a few that I have been going to really in 2024 thus far. First is going to be Nashville Barrel Company, NBC. Oh my gosh. This one I kind of stopped getting into for a little bit there. I thought the prices were getting a little too high. And then lately, the single barrels that people have been finding of this have been killer. I got Barrels for Hope in my hand here. Dusty Dan did one. Oh my gosh, they are so, so good. The other one that we've been talking about for a few months on the channel is Copper and Cask. A lot of those are being aged in Florida. It's giving it a little bit of a deeper, darker flavor profile. Oh, it is so good. I can't show the bottle right now because I did finish the pick that Darrell helped with last year after we finished our Whiskey Friend tournament. No more of that bottle. And then the last brand that I will show you, been really digging them lately too. Been doing a lot of Backbone here. So Backbone has some really good picks, typically around 7 to 8 years, but a lot of these just have a deeper, richer flavor profile than the 7 years or 8 years might allude to. So closing out the MGP portion on here, you can find single barrels out there ranging between 7 to 10 years. Some of the more double-digit ones, though, do get expensive. That's when you're probably getting into ranges over $100. I have been trying to dabble in this kind of $70 to $100 range, though Darrell did find me a Copper and Cask that was delicious. That was like $60. So there are good deals out there, even though the age statements have recovered compared to just a couple of years ago. 7, 8, 9 years. Don't overpay. Try to stick between that $60 to $100 range if you're searching out these single barrels. And then the other thing to keep in mind is a lot of people do finishes on MGP single barrels to try to distinguish themselves. Just got done with the pick for Barrels for Hope, where we did essentially the highest rye mash bill from Remus, but it was barrel proof and finished in Oloroso sherry. That's going to come from Dark Arts. And Dark Arts might be on this list by the end of the year because that was one heck of a barrel tasting experience. I tell you what. So now let's get into the real list here. I've been hyping up this one so far this year, and for good reason, because I am demolishing these bottles. So this is now the 3rd bottle and now I'm already a third through that one. I just keep sharing this one with everyone. It's $68. It's a high rye bourbon. So I like the MGP and I like the high rye new Riff, go figure. But this 8-year release has been a crowd pleaser. I have been giving everyone I can a pour of this just to see what they think. A lot of people are very skeptical, like, I don't know if I'm into New Riff. And then they try this and they're like, oh, New Riff's trajectory is a little better than I thought. This is really good. Right now, it is distillery only, but it is supposed to be a wider release, and they keep describing it as a core release. So maybe we can get to the point where this is on the shelf next to their other products as a standard. So keep an eye out for that as 2024 develops. It is a really good bourbon, and it just shows that New Riff is just going to keep growing too. Next one. Oh, actually, I kind of realize I'm starting to run low on these, but I love the Sagamore Spirit Rise. My wife loves them as well, which really helps, which is why there's always one with us when we're on the back porch. But their 6 to 8 year single barrels are great. I guess they are technically Indiana, but I'm not going to double count it because they do their own unique thing here. Also have a few bottles that are finished in sherry, cognac. I think I've heard of one being finished in tequila. There's all types of interesting finishes when it comes to this too. And then the other one that I have is the 8-year-old release. So that one isn't a single barrel. That is just a overall blend that they did at 8 years. And that was a really good rye last year too. There's typically always a Sagamore nearby when we are relaxing. Next one is going to be Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So I am a big sucker for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I prefer the batches over the single barrels, but in total, I have about 20 bottles of Elijah Craig open right now, 5 of them being single barrels, 15 of them being various batches, including one of the pirate bottles that sits here behind me. So wow. I love going to this. It's that oak profile, and it's actually something that I'm craving more and more often, I think, because it is now so rare in the bourbon world that we're dealing with, especially with the price where it's at. The oak on any given bourbon these days comes at such a premium and such an expensive price that it typically wouldn't fit a list like this. But Elijah Craig, keeping those prices down, has enabled that. Though I was not a big fan of the A124, so I am hoping for a bounce back year. If the trajectory of those batches continues to go down, maybe I'll have to take it off my go to whiskey list and more as a savor list. Next one here, and that's actually what I got in the glass. Got the Whiskey Riff Lounge glass. So cheers to Kelsey, our resident turkey head. But oh man, always have a wild turkey bottle nearby. Typically a Russell's pick, though what is in my glass today is the rare breed. There hasn't been a time that this hasn't been on my shelf since 2017. And now I need to finish this one so I can get the new label one that just came out. But I love Russell's picks. I've probably got about a handful of those that are stashed in a drawer down here. I don't back up too many things, but man, did I have a period of time where I was collecting Russell's picks, especially when the price was closer to $70. Now, the Kentucky Spirit, I do go to the Kentucky Spirit picks when I get them. I tend to like just crush them mercilessly. Like I don't savor them or nothing. I don't know if I'm going to buy them again, honestly. I haven't gotten quite the value proposition of the Kentucky Spirit at 101 proof. People keep telling me, oh, but it's 10 years old, it's 11 years old. I don't know. I just don't think the flavors are there sometimes. Even amongst picks that I really appreciate, I just don't dig the Kentucky Spirit picks. So, hot take, let me know what you think of those in the comments. Last one here. Now, this one maybe is controversial. I don't know. I don't hear people talking enough about Driftless Glenn. These picks are so, so good. I've got about 8 picks of Driftless Glenn that are open right now. Yeah, most of them do come from Jason and have donuts all over the stickers, but they are amazing whiskeys. I love these. Both the bourbons and the ryes, I think, are impeccable. The fruits, the desserts, all the flavors that come from that. I have continuously, as an example, put this blind against Willet single barrels. I got a 6-year purple top. I got an old Kirk that's 7 years old. I'll put it in blinds against Driftless Glenn. Driftless Glenn, similar profile. This one wins every time for me. So I tend to gravitate towards those. And man, sometimes I leave them as that last pour of all the pours that I just showed you. That might be the last pour of the night at the verge of sunset. So that is my list of go-to favorite whiskeys. Those are the things that I reach for in the quiet moments when I don't have an agenda at all. I just want to sit back, relax, enjoy what I'm drinking. As you can see there, try to keep the prices between $50 to $100. I typically don't dabble in anything that's much cheaper than that when it comes to the daily drinkers, because I try not to drink daily, though with the channel, it happens more than it should, mainly because I'm doing those reviews. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of your go-to whiskeys? What do you think of this list? Any of them on your list? Any brands that you disagree with that shouldn't be on this list? I want to know. And also, what do you think about that hot take about Kentucky Spirits? What is with that for $60? Is that worth it for a 101 single barrel? I don't know. That's the most, I don't know. That's the weirdest one of all of them. So that concludes today's list. Thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. We'll catch you on the next Tuesday discussion. Goodbye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends.